Policy Circle's co-founder and board chair, Sylvie Legere, and executive director, Stacy Blakely.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone. It is a pleasure to be standing here today, literally standing here today with you and for this event. This is our 6th annual summit, and each year this is a moment for the Policy Circle women to come together and actually explore issues that we're not exactly totally knowledgeable about and allow us to really go beyond the headlines. In the past, we talked about the digital divide and data privacy before it was all over the news with Facebook. We talked about last year about the energy before the energy crisis that we are in. And today we are going to talk about thriving communities and the pillars of a thriving communities. Stacy, you want to tell us a little bit about all of the great program that you've assembled?
Well, my team has assembled, but I want to share with you all, this might be some insight you need to know about Sylvie. She was ahead of the curve on the digital divide, she mentioned. And then the energy crisis, she said, we should do a panel on power and water. And I'm like, can we do a whole summit on power and water? And a few weeks later, we had Texas freeze, no power, no water. And I said, Sylvie, can you go to Vegas with me? Because I really need you to start picking lotto numbers or something. But really what this does is we kind of want to get the Policy Circle community sort of prepared for what's next. So what you're going to find in our summit today is really an interesting thread that we're weaving through all this program about building a thriving community. It's kind of that intersection of opportunity, innovation, and then cutting through red tape. Who's busting through barriers? Who's really making a difference? And so to do this in a way that we feel like is going to give you knowledge and challenge you and give you best practices, we've assembled our panels in a way that you have national thought leaders and experts that have come from all around the country to share their expertise. We've got people in business and architecture, and then people that are boots on the ground getting the work done. Local practitioners that are going to share with us how these sort of ideas and the theories and the data play out in the real world.
Yeah, and I mean, you say I come up with the topics, but I don't actually. This would not be possible without the insights, the input, and the support from all of you, and especially, our National Advisory Council gives us a lot of ideas on what we should be talking about based on what they hear in their communities. We have our circle leaders who are here or hosting conversation who give us feedback. The state leadership councils are leading and the expansion and the presence of the Policy Circle in their states, and they're also telling us what's happening. And right now, we are in 44 states. Mm-hmm. We have over 11,000 members, and it's really thanks to all of you that we are able to grow, and for all of your input that we're able to create programming that responds to a concern of things that you care about. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to our National Advisory Council. And I just want to say we have such a generous community, generous with their time, their expertise, their relationships. But I have to celebrate that our summit, first of all, sold out. Thank you guys all for being here. So we sold out quickly, which is exciting. And then we set some fundraising records, which as a nonprofit, that's part of the name of the game too. So I want to thank our generous sponsors, the Triad Foundation, Generation W, Free Spoke, Sylvie Legere, Candidate Pathways, friends at ACE Scholarships, and Kathy Cranberg, Stand Together Trust, Ina Kim Shad, Mary Beth Weiss, and Authentic Agility Games. And then if you'll look at the next slide, we've got the American Federation for Children, JP Morgan Chase and Company, and Crow Holdings. Now, I want to recognize all of our sponsors, table host, in-kind donors, and for all of you that just went to the time and effort to purchase a ticket to support the Policy Circle, but also coming in and making an investment in yourselves, right? Making an investment in their leadership skills, because you're going to take this back and you are going to be more impactful and a blessing to your community. So, and I also want to give just a huge shout out to all our speakers. We have speakers from all over the country. Yeah. They are going to share some things with you today that you're going to be a little bit like, wow. And then they're going to share other things that you're like, I am very fired up and motivated, right? Because I've got some new information or a new path. But all of our sponsors that you see on the screen are partners for us, not just for the summit, but they collaborate with us, and we're so grateful for that.
Yeah, and all of you are giving your time and also your treasures to help the Policy Circle grow, and because you kind of see the values that it delivers. And I think Stacy and I want to take a little moment to explain what is the Policy Circle, because it's grown since we started. And I also want to recognize that there's people here in the room who were at the very first summit. Jacqueline Denal was here at the very first summit that we started in Indiana with my co-founders, Angela Brawley and Kathy Hubbard. So it's the value when Kathy, Angela, and I came together, we wanted to give women, create a framework to really give women the confidence to engage in public policy dialogue. And our flagship program that we created is this roundtable, is a framework for engaging people in a roundtable discussion. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot of courage to convene friends, stakeholders, colleagues, to go deeper and understand all of the facets of an issue and find a focus and find allies to actually decide and engage locally and engage and do something. And I have to say that I am the product of the Policy Circle. My background is not in politics or policy making. I was a executive in technology and financial services. I own a small business, and we created this to really change us, to really engage and be able to bring people together and be a spark in their lives so that they can engage in their communities. I hosted, last week, I was part of a circle on literacy, and this sparked us to host another conversation on teaching standards in Illinois, on educational choice in Illinois, and really bring all the stakeholders together. And before that, I was really not involved in education at all. So, I just want to say this is a flagship program of our conversation, and also to congratulate all of you that host so many conversations throughout the year, throughout the states, and making a difference in women's lives. So we do a lot of other things now. This was our flagship program.
It is. This is what we sometimes will call like the legacy model, right?
Yeah.
Because what's interesting, and there's some of you in this room that have been hosting a circle with the same group of people since, 2016, really?
Yeah.
They've been meeting consistently. And then what's been interesting, right, is those groups are amazing, right? They do work together, they build relationships. But we've seen this model evolve, right? And COVID was definitely part of this process. But what we've seen people do is, we have briefs on 61 topics from mental health to the Middle East. And so sometimes people say, well, let's just gather and have a conversation around a particular issue, right? Let's get the stakeholders in the community together. And for those of you familiar with our briefs, these are fact-based. You can check out every fact. And so you start with kind of this trustworthy set of information and engage in real constructive dialogue. But everything we do at the Policy Circle is action-oriented. This one over, every time we look at something, she goes, yeah, but what are they going to do? And that is really our DNA, right? You want to read, you want to get informed, you want to take action, and then how are you going to move the ball down the field? So in addition to those conversations and the legacy model, and then the conversations that take place in living rooms and boardrooms, really the second way that we connect with our members and the broader community is through virtual and in-person programming. And so I want to say there's some pictures I think that are on the screen are going to be shown here just in a second. And if you looked at our calendars, you know we are on the move. And this is the best part, I think, of our job, is that we get to come and meet with you in your communities. So many people in this room have launched new circles, have brought in experts. And what this does is it allows us to convene at that regional level, and then we see a spark. And people have an amazing experience. And then they go talk to their friend. And then they want to go host a circle. That's really how we've grown, right? Is that sort of grassroots engagement. So those in-person and regional events, and then of course our summit, it's a huge part of building our community. But the second part that is not going away is virtual. Because what we have found is our biggest sort of competitor is that you're busy. You guys have a lot of obligations. You have a lot of things on your plate, and you want to know more, and you want to do more, and you're not quite sure where to start. So our virtual programs really are a place for you to watch and engage when it works best for you. So you want to talk about kind of the third way that we engage?
Yeah, the third way, so since we started the Policy Circle, I remember at Angela's house, people were like, this is really nice to talk about the issue, but what are we going to do about it? This is how the brief evolved to have a real section on what can you do locally. And then we wanted to take that a step further, and we created the CLEAR, the Civic Leadership Engagement Roadmap. Kim Borchers spearheaded this. So many of you have helped us pilot this program, but it's really a 3-month virtual course that you sign up with, and you are part of a cohort who learn about how your local government functions, but also you are charged with actions, things that you have to do. You have to meet with a city council person, you have to attend a town hall meeting, you have to research what is happening in your state, and you have to report back. And you are also given some one-on-one coaching. Kim helps you find your focus, navigate what is happening in your community, and the key thing that happens in this is you expand your network of relationships that allow you to grow professionally, civically in your community, and then also give you a spark and support to engage and locally. So we have amazing stories that you will hear throughout the day. We've collected about 450 stories of impact. Our goal is to have 1,000. And so we need each and every one of you to tell us what you are doing as a result of a Policy Circle experience, whether it's participating in a conversation, reading a brief, sharing a brief, or participating in a virtual program as well. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And so,
well, and these stories of impact, this is really something we've just undertaken in the last year and a half. I don't know how to break this to you, but women, y'all don't always tell us what you're doing. And we get into conversation, and it's like, oh, so what are you up to? Not much. And then later on, we find they published a book, they're running for office, and I don't know, they ran a marathon. I'm like, tell us what you're doing. Because we want to celebrate you, but also we want to come alongside, right? How can we step alongside and help you and support you in that journey? And I think with what we're seeing out of CLEAR and this particular program is that women are feeling this bit of confidence. And it's shocking to me, right? I get around, and we've talked about this before, you get around these remarkable women and we're like, you can do anything. Like, why do you have a confidence gap? But women want to know the facts. We want to have all this information before we speak and we step out. And really what CLEAR does is it builds confidence on multiple fronts. But I'm very curious, who in this room is participating in CLEAR? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh, isn't that exciting?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
These are world changers right out here.
Yeah, and this is exciting, and as you can see here on the slides, we have a CLEAR 1.0 that is focused on the community. Once you've graduated from that, you're invited to participate at state and federal level, where you understand and connect with how the state functions. And then we have a new track that is CLEAR Education, and we filled the gap where this is not campaign school to run for school board. This is really to understand how education policy is shaped in your state. So you have people from all over the country who participate in those, and you find the tools to really understand how things are done in your state so you can constructively show up and weigh in to what is happening in your school district and also even at the state level and shape education. So if you can recommend people to participate in CLEAR, want to add this, and then you could help us really spread the word and help us partner with a lot of organizations out there who are offering a variety of courses. So I just want to say, in conclusion, before I leave Stacy to give you the logistics, we are so lucky to have you, Stacy, as our leader. There's nothing, really. As co-founders, and I speak on behalf of our board, Laura Cox Kaplan, Carol Green, but my co-founders, Angela Brawley and Kathy Hubbard, there is nothing, we feel so blessed to have found you to carry out the mission with such passion, professionalism, to take this organization to a level that, I could never have imagined when we started this.
Okay, so, all our makeup's gonna go. We just worked on this makeup.
So thank you for the dedication, the hours. Stacy is on the road all the time, which I'm not, as much anymore, so I'm
It's
getting
okay.
involved in
It's
Illinois
okay.
now. But
They need you more in Illinois right now.
yeah. So, but thank you,
Yes.
and thank you for all of you, for your time, your volunteering with this organization to bring back civil discourse, to reduce the polarization. We're doing important work that makes a difference and gets to the root cause of what breaks our heart and the human suffering that we see. So thank you, Stacy.
Yes,
and
yes.
Tell us about the app.
Okay.
Because download the app.
Download the app. Okay, before I go to the app, I just want to say there are so many special touches at this summit. And these are due to Sylvie. She's so generous, guys, and this is part of her love for people is she wants you to come and have an amazing experience. And so I want to thank you for all that you sow into all of us. I'm not going to cry. But I want to tell you, I mean, you've changed my life. You can ask my family in this room. And I think I told everybody last night, if you just want to stay in your comfy zone, don't hang out with Sylvie. No, because she sees things in you you may not see in yourself. And then more importantly, you're an encourager. And so I thank you for that because I think we all need that, don't we? We need somebody to encourage us. So
There you go.
Appreciate
There you go. Yes. So,
All right.
And, so, in addition to the app, I
Yes.
think it'd be great if people follow us on social media.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, I'm on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Sylvie Legere. And I also have a podcast, Trust Your Voice podcast, which
is
amplifies what we are doing here.
Yeah.
So, download the app and
yeah.
have a great
Okay.
summit.
All right. Thank you,
Fantastic.
Sylvie. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. All right, so a few little housekeeping things to get us started today. If you have not downloaded the app, you're in trouble. Just kidding. The app is such a great tool, and there's been a lot of time and effort put into this. So make sure that you download it. If you haven't already, flip over your lanyard. You'll see 2 QR codes. You can pick a Google Play or whatever that is, or the Apple App Store, and fill out your profile on the app because people can connect with you on LinkedIn, you can share what you're doing. So it's not just a tool for you to see what's coming next and for us to text you little tidbits throughout the day. It is also an opportunity for you to connect. And we have virtual participants right now. I didn't get the number yet because I didn't want to get too nervous, but there's a lot of people participating virtually. And I am so excited to have all of you that are tuning in from all over the country right now. So make sure you're all engaging on the app because that kind of bridges our in-person and virtual community, which is a wonderful thing. And then also on the app, I want to encourage you, there's a button at the bottom. If you press it, it kind of gives you some apps. Sylvie, she's not going to tell you this, she spent a ton of time building out an incredible video capsule library. I mean, we've got the CEO of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Seema Varma is on there. She's got how to do a TED Talk, how to build an op-ed. There's 26 videos, touch on all the pillars of the community, but also some incredible tools and wisdom for you to use. So please, please watch the videos because we're going to have a pop quiz. Just kidding. And then I want to tell you guys all that sort of the last few little tidbits here today is it's not too late. You can share links with your friends and family. Like if you're like, this is going to be a great session, send them a link. They can register all day today and even tomorrow. And all of this content is on demand. So someone says, I don't have time to watch this today, register. You can listen and watch this in the weeks to come. So the more that you guys share on social, the more that you encourage your colleagues, your organizations to register, this amplifies the work that's been put into today. So thank you to all of you. Let's jump into the first panel. Are y'all ready? All right, let's go. This is going to be good. All right, so our first panel is Americans on the Move, Understanding the Dynamic Shifts and Historic Impact of State-to-State Migration. This is going to be facilitated by Tracy Hyatt Bosman, a longtime policy leader. Tracy is the managing director of Biggins Lacey Shapiro and Company, where she works on incentives and negotiations and global strategic business planning and market analysis, which comes into play here. She is an experienced economic